Hello everyone, I'm Adam Brown and this is Shell Point Today for Thursday, September 11th. On today's show, Shell Point Security Officer Don Teel will share a bit of his life with the piano. But first, we want to remind you about a couple of things of interest for tomorrow. The Academy on the Go is taking a trip to the Captiva Island History Museum and Gallery. It features a replica of the interior of the original U.S. Postal Service ship, the Santiva. After the tour, the group will make a lunch stop at the fun and funky Island Cow, where we're told that $10 goes a long way at lunchtime. The trip cost is $12, and you're on your own for lunch. Court pickups start at 8:30 a.m. Also tomorrow is the kickoff day for the new Latin-size dance class. It's a great way to join in the fun of dancing the cha-cha, merengue, rumba, salsa, and more, all while gaining great fitness benefits. All are welcome to move to the music during the Latin-size programs that will be held each Friday this month at 2:30 in the Island Health Club. If you have questions about this new group, contact Carol Ashley of Coquina at 768-5213. For more information or to sign up for any of the activities we've talked about, stop by the Island Service Desk in the Resident Activity Center on the island or call 454-2282. Or you can reach the Woodland Service Desk at 454-2054. Not long ago, Randy Woods at the Village Church told us about an event that was coming up in the Crystal Room, where they were going to have one of the security officers play the piano. This sounded a bit unusual, so we looked into it and had a delightful time getting acquainted with the interesting life of Don Teel.
Hi, I'm Don Teel. Currently, I'm a security guard working for Securitas, which keeps the people safe, and we try to take care of them here on the island and throughout all of Shell Point. But I'm basically a California boy, born, raised, had my career, two careers actually. I was raised and trained to be a concert pianist, which I am. But I am at heart also a lawman. I'm retired California Highway Patrol. I was injured. I've been medically retired on 3 separate occasions with the department. And so we moved to Florida, and I needed some outside work, and I just got into the security work. I love to be with people, and certainly I'm a trained observer. So that's why I'm here at this point. When I was a little tiny boy, my mother was the organist at the Church of the Open Door in Los Angeles. Very famous, large church. One of the greatest gospel tenors of all time was there, Norman Nelson. And but anyway, my mom, she was not just a performer, she was a teacher, and piano, organ, and accordion. And I was the only one of her 4 boys that took to the keyboard. I started at the age of 4.5, and I've been sitting here ever since. At the age of 16, I had performed twice with the San Diego Symphony Orchestra. And I had some great opportunities at that point to go to other parts of the world and study and train. But I had other things in my life, mainly my family. And I made the decision, I did not want to go on the road as a concert pianist for my life. My main goal was to get married, have children, be a stay-at-home dad, Although I never stopped performing, ever. I've played all over the state of California, a little into Nevada. I love law enforcement. I was born to be a warrior. 1965 to 69, during the Vietnam era, I was in the Air Force. I heard that the Air Force Band of the Midwest was stationed at Chanute. They just happened to need a piano player. I got permission to audition. I did that, and they took me. So the first 11 months of my Air Force career, I played in the dance band, the concert band, and in the parades. We marched parades all over from Michigan to Texas. I can't tell you how much I loved it. I was changed into athletics, recreation athletics, and I was sent to Anchorage, Alaska. And I was a lifeguard at the big, gigantic indoor pool and recreation area. That's what I did. I had buddies a good friend of mine who had gotten killed in Vietnam while he was there. I was a lifeguard at the indoor pool in Anchorage, Alaska. During the time with the Air Force, I went in, I won the Air Force talent competition. And I was up in Anchorage at the time. And Art Linkletter, who most of you will remember, his show was touring the world, military bases. They found out about what I had done, and they invited me to perform on their show. So I got to meet the great man, Art Linkletter. I performed on his show. Oh, up in Alaska, I got to play on the incredible Baldwin, like this is, that Liberace used when he toured Alaska. And if you can hear me play boogie, all you'll think is that Liberace? And yes, I heard him a couple times in person, up close and personal. Greatest piano player that ever lived. Not the greatest artist. The man loved to play Chopin. He couldn't get near Chopin. He just couldn't do it. When my mom passed away, I couldn't play in church for almost 3 years because I hear the organ and I cry. You can't do that. But I've had the dual career. Matter of fact, while in Los Angeles as the Highway Patrol, one of my lieutenants was a big wheel around the Los Angeles area with Kiwanis and Rotary and all of those things. And he would be called the guest speaker at some of these occasions. And so the lieutenant would come in, and I have to tell you this, in Glendale, California, the last time I performed there, he was the guest speaker, and he put up the 88 key notes of the Highway Patrol. Well, there just happened to be 88 notes on a piano. And I drove in the patrol car, full uniform, my gun belt and everything, even my baton. And we had a nice luncheon, and he got up to speak. And after his presentation, he called me up on stage. There just happened to be a piano on stage. He introduced me and said, "This man can play the piano." And I took off my gun belt, laid it on the floor, and had the opportunity to just blow those guys away. It was so much fun, and I've been able to do that. So I thank the good Lord for that and the life in music. And I think the best compliment I ever received in music was at one of the churches I attended for years. After a concert with Mom and I, a lady they were a middle-aged couple, she brought her husband up, and he was a giant bear of a man. He had a beard, and he was just what you'd picture as a mountain man. He never said one word to me, but she said, "I cannot thank you enough for your music." She said, "You are the only entertainer, singing I was a professional singer for a while till I lost my voice. Breaks my heart. But she said, whether you're singing or playing the piano, you're the only entertainer that's ever made this man cry. And I have to tell you, that's the finest, especially in a church performance. So that's it with my music career. Now I'm way too old. I'm all broken up. Been medically retired 3 times from the Highway Patrol. But now at this stage of my life, 68 and counting, I'm going to push my music career, and I'm going to do my best with the Lord's help to touch the hearts of the people I have the privilege of playing for.
Now it's time to cover all of today's happenings, academy news, menus, and village church connections.
I'm Mary Franklin along with Bev Chanley today, and we have wonderful activities planned for you. So get out your pencil and paper and make note of everything happening. At 7:15, Bend, Breathe, and Balance will take place in the Health Club on the island. At 8 o'clock, the Men's Golf Association will tee off, and the Round Robin Doubles tennis players will be gathering at the tennis courts. Paddlers Club will be meeting at the kayak storage on the island at 8:30. At 9:15, Shuffleboard will be played. Current Events takes place at 9:30 in the game room at the Woodlands. And if you're signed up, Bev's going on a wonderful trip today out to the Sanibel Island Dunes Country Club with food demonstration with flair and lunch. Pickup starts at 9:30 on the island, 9:40 Woodlands, and 9:50 Eagles Preserve. Also at 9:30, the ladies' match play will take place at the tennis courts. and samba will be played in the sable room. 9:45, introduction to beginning line dancing begins in the health club. And when they're finished, the basic line dancers will take to the health club floor at 10:15. Also at 10:15, we have the poetry group gathering in the Tarpon Room on the island. That's it for your Thursday morning. Bev, how do we kick things off in the afternoon?
Well, Mary, we're going to start at 12:45 today. We'll have Mahjong being played in the library lounge on the island. 1:15, the Butterfly Garden Committee will be meeting at the Butterfly Gardens. We have a Health Connections class at 1:30. This one is Aqua Pilates Stretch at the Life Quest Aquatic Center. We have another Health Connections class at 2:45, Balance and Mobility Training Level 2 in the Health Club, and that's currently full. We're going to jump to 4 o'clock where our seamstress will be here for her weekly service. She'll be in the Osprey Room. 4:30, we have Alcoholics Anonymous meeting in the Sable Room at the Woodlands. Then we have a 4:30 indoor bocce game down in the Health Club. And 6:30 is our last activity, and it's Pinochle today. That's played in the Library Lounge. Well, we're glad you joined us here today, and we'll be back again tomorrow for the weekend edition of Shell Point's Happenings.
Hi, I'm Terry Kolath with your Academy information for Thursday. This is a reminder that tomorrow, Academy on the Go, the very first educational field trip, will take you to Captiva Island for the history and the gallery.
Menus for Thursday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is grilled pork tenderloin with scalloped potatoes and cabbage. The dinner special is the Crystal Carving Board for $13.95, and the soup of the day is beef rice. In the Island Cafe for lunch, the special is a mushroom Swiss burger with onion rings for $7.25. The dinner special is Thai night for $8.25. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Hi, welcome to Village Church Connections. I'm Andy Hawkins, the senior pastor of the Village Church. You know, in this series of devotionals, we've been discussing the Life Quest program at Shell Point with its 6 dimensions of well-being. There's the natural environment, the physical, the emotional, the educational, the community and social, and finally the spiritual. It's a comprehensive perspective on the nature of our humanity. Without any one of those dimensions, we are somehow diminished in our humanity. And so here at Shell Point, we are committed to programming which seeks to provide multiple opportunities for residents and employees to grow in a well-rounded way, fulfilling our genuine humanity. Now, we at the Village Church are primarily concerned about the spiritual dimension, teaching our community who God is and who we are before God. But we are also concerned about seeing the connections between the spiritual and all the other dimensions identified in Life Quest. I've made the case that the other dimensions of Life Quest are like the parts of an automobile tire, and the tire analogy suggests that the spiritual is the air in the tire. The notion of the spiritual being the air has a biblical foundation because both the Hebrew and Greek words for spirit bring the notion of air to mind. The Hebrew ruach and the Greek word pneuma both mean breath or wind. And so air is necessary in a tire because without it, you may have perhaps experienced, the tire can be destroyed very quickly. The spiritual dimension gives life, support, and meaning to all the other dimensions. And without the spiritual dimension, something very significant is missing. And without the spiritual dimension, the other dimensions lose their support and integrity. And in this series, we are exploring how the spiritual dimension provides support and integrity to the other dimensions. We have considered the natural environment and the physical dimensions, and today we will consider the emotional dimension. You know, part of what it means to be made in the image of God is that we are emotional beings. We have the capacity not only to know something about God, but to have genuine affection for Him. And of course, because we are all emotional beings, we have the capacity to have genuine affections for each other also. The emotional dimension of our humanity is on display in the Scriptures from beginning to end. And one of my favorite stories has to do with the birth of Samuel, which is recorded in the Old Testament in 1 Samuel. Perhaps you might know the story. Hannah is one of 2 wives, and she is the one without children. And in those days, it was a great cause of consternation to be a woman, a wife, without children. One's whole existence would be painful and seemingly without purpose for a woman in those days who did not have children. And to make matters worse, the other wife in that family wouldn't let Hannah forget it. She was constantly mocking poor Hannah regarding her childless condition, all of which led to an encounter at the temple during a feast. Hannah was overwrought with distress regarding her condition. The priest, Eli, saw her in distress and initially thought she was drunk. In chapter 1 of 1 Samuel, beginning in verse 15, we read, "But Hannah answered and said, 'No, my Lord, I am a woman of sorrowful spirit. I have drunk neither wine nor intoxicating drink, but have poured out my soul before the Lord.'" It's interesting to me that Hannah speaks of her own emotional state as a sorrowful spirit. She implicitly recognized the spiritual dimension of her emotional state. In the midst of her emotional distress, she then made a promise that if God would grant her a child, she would give that child to God. She would dedicate him to the Lord by leaving the child literally with Eli, the priest, to grow up and learning to serve the Lord. So her emotions, evidences of the Spirit, led her to make a spiritual decision, the consecration of her baby to God. We are emotional beings. We have the capacity for genuine affection and love for God and for each other. And we have that capacity because we are created in God's image as spiritual beings, which also means we have the capacity for feeling. I trust that as you experience genuine human emotion, that you'll remember from time to time that it is because of your origin as a person made in God's image, capable of feeling with a soul, enabling a relationship with other souls who also have genuine emotions. You'll be blessed as you do, because once again, another dimension of our humanity, the emotional dimension, retains its God-given purpose and meaning by being filled with the air of the spiritual dimension. Thank you for joining us. We hope you'll have a blessed day, and we hope to see you soon.
We're glad you joined us for today's show. Tune in tomorrow when we'll get a pictorial preview of the upcoming outing to the Cirque du Soleil show, Verikai. Until then, this is Shell Point Today for Thursday, September 11th. I'm Adam Brown, and for all of us here at Shell Point TV, we hope you have a great day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.